I think it was clear by the middle of the last decade that there were imbalances that were bigger than could be sustained, with the oil exporters in China and a couple of other countries on one side, and the U.S., the large deficit country, on the other side. Uh, the first part of the statement is that the IMF has no power over this. The second power is that the second statement is that the IMF anyway tried to do something. The managing director did call together the finance ministers and central bank governors of 6 large players, i.e. China, the U.S., UK, European Union, let's see who I forget, Japan, and then the oil exporters. I think Saudi Arabia represented them. Well, the group met, and the IMF staff met individually with the different country representatives and so on. One thing on which everybody agreed was, yes, there were global imbalances and they were too large. Everybody agreed on that. Nobody quarreled with that at all. The U.S. agreed, the Chinese agreed, everybody else. The disagreement came because, of course, the Chinese said, but it's a deficit country problem to resolve. And the deficit country said, it's the surplus country's problem to resolve. So while everybody agreed, just like with our budget, everybody agrees something ought to be done, but they disagree as to which way to go. So it happened internationally, and that was the first of the efforts. The second of the efforts came from the G20 when that failed, and I think there was allusion to that earlier, in Seoul in 2009, when the G20 called for what they called MAPS, Mutual Assessment Program, where each of the G20 were to submit their macro stance for the following, I think, year, but I'm not sure of that, at least year, but maybe longer, to the IMF. IMF staff were going to add them up and see how they came out, which might be a good indicator of whether there's inflationary pressure, deflation, or what have you. Everybody submitted the most anodyne plans you could imagine. What they had to do with reality was the only real question, and it was a big one. The result of which, of course, is so far, at least to my knowledge, nothing has happened on account of the maps. Nobody as yet has changed anything that they were going to do anyway on account of it. But that isn't to say that there could not be